Hi, welcome to Mary the Contrary. My name is Mariam, and this is week 1 of 12 weeks of half marathon training. It's colder than I thought, and why do people attach the mic like this? So, week 1 has been exactly like the last 3 weeks because I'll be using week 1 as a template to build my base before the actual 12-week training starts. Because it's one of the easiest weeks. What I've tried differently for this week is that I've tried to go more with more with my heart rate and what feels right rather than what I want to feel right, or comparing myself to how I used to be a few weeks or a few months ago. And I think I'm quite happy about it. I'm a bit stressed because it means that I have to push myself a bit more because I'm not where I want to be. But let's just compare the two runs I've got in mind. So one of them is yesterday and the other one is the 30th of November. I actually got a piece of paper here that I've written the details on. Yesterday I did 6K easy followed by 4 sets of 10-second sprints, and on 30th of November I did 9K of easy, but bear in mind that I did 1.5 kilometers of warm-up before the 9K as well on the 30th of November. So my average pace yesterday was 6.26 per kilometer, and in November was 5:18 per kilometer, so around 1 minute, 10 seconds, 8 seconds difference. My max elevation yesterday was 1576 meters, and in London was 46 meters in Regent's Park, I think this was. And yesterday my elevation was 38 meters, whereas in London mine was 29 meters, so a little bit less elevation back then. My average heart rate was 149 yesterday, and in November was 152, so quite similar. As you can see, there's a lot of difference, and I'm not too sure if it's the altitude, the pollution, or I don't know, is it just my body feeling different, or have I become detrained? But there are things that are going well as well, like the strength training, which is going really good. On Saturdays, we do upper body and abs, and on Mondays, we're doing lower body and core. And I'm really happy because for once in my life, it's just becoming consistent, and I'm really looking forward to doing a body composition test soon to have a point of reference to compare my future and my past form with. And speaking of past, in a completely unintentional way of stitching these two bits together, let's move on to the next bit where I talk a bit about my running and cycling journey and the past races that I have done. I'm just looking at some of the footage from today and I can't wait to share it with you. Today's session was a really good one, surprisingly. It was 1.5K of warm-up followed by 2 sets of 10 minutes of half marathon pace, which for me is going to be hopefully 5 minutes per kilometer, followed by 1.5K of cool down. And yeah, I think it was a bit difficult, and I'm definitely wondering how I'm gonna actually turn this 2 sets of 10 to 1 hour and 45 minutes of consistently running at this pace. And also, in case you were wondering what this is my first medal for my first race. As you might remember, I started running in August 2023. And it was both running and cycling and strength training with my coach. And I just wanted to do something healthy and maybe stay away from some of my unhealthier habits and just like have a balanced lifestyle. And in March 2024, I had my first 5K, which is this one, in Battersea Park. And yeah, it was one to remember. The first 200 meters, I was just like, I cannot sustain this pace. It was just too fast for me. And when I looked at my watch and I saw the first kilometer pace, it was like 4 57, something like that. And I had never run like faster than I think 5 minutes per kilometer, and it was just so difficult. But I just tried to, you know, just like keep close with everyone around me and just push and just imagine that they're my friends and catch up with them. And then when I finished, I looked at my watch and it was like 4.8, and I was like, no, I have to do this for Strava. So I just kept on running 200 meters until I heard the beep from my watch and I could stop. And then I went back to grab my medal, and they were like, oh yeah, you became third. I was like, what? So I became third in women, which was insane just because no one else had shown up on that day, and definitely changed how I thought about how much effort I can put in, like how much faster I can go, because I just went faster than I had ever trained. My second race was a sprint duathlon, as you might have guessed from this right here. It was in Dorney Lake near Windsor in December 2024. I think it was a really good race overall, but the bike section was just brutal. One of the worst headwinds I've ever experienced in my whole life. But what was even more dramatic than the race itself was how we actually got to the race. Because my mum had flown from Tehran to London to be with me for the race. And we stayed at a hotel the night before, being like super thoughtful. But in the morning, I cycled to the race venue and she got an Uber. And I just went through like some weird paths in gravel, in mud, and it was just so awful. I was so worried about my tires getting punctured. And then I actually got to the race venue, but there was this massive gate between us. So I saw some guy who was tossing his bike to some other people on the other side of the gate. And then he climbed the gate, and I was like, wait for me. So I got there and I got my bike to them. But I couldn't. I started climbing and I was so worried I was going to fall, and it was so wet, and I was just like, I can't do this. So one of the stewards, she was like, oh yeah, if you run like 600 meters, you'll get to a point where you can probably like find a broken fence or something and come through there. And I did that. And meanwhile, my mum, she also got dropped off at the wrong location. So she was lost as well. And then she found these people who were also lost. And she got in their car and they all arrived. But she had all of my kit. So we got there maybe like 10 minutes before the registration closed. It was definitely a close call, but yeah. I think despite all the drama before the race, it was actually a good one. And at last but not least, Victoria Park 10K, which was my last race in January. One that I wanted to finish in a better time. I think 48:30 was the goal, but I finished in 48:59. Still a really good time despite the conditions, amazing rainy, super wet British weather that we all love and cherish. But yeah, it was actually a really good race. Really difficult, really insanely difficult. But I had my friend Goal with me there to cheer me on, and that's why we've got some lovely footage as well from the race. Which brings me to my half marathon, my longest distance ever, and my first race that ends with a marathon, which I'm excited about. Week one has definitely been a really good week, one that I had to kind of separate myself from all the expectations I had of myself and just tune in to see how my heart feels. Good morning. It is, I want to say 8 a.m. Yeah, around 8 a.m. Around 0 degrees or maybe less than that. I don't really know. Here in Tehran, and I'm here for my 10K long run. I'm gonna do a 1K warm up before that as well, and just look at how it looks here. I've definitely underestimated the weather, but let's see how it goes. I'm back from it. Just crashing at my brother's, but have a look at the stats. It was insanely difficult. It was just, I don't know how I did it. From like kilometer 3, I was dead, and by kilometer 7, I was crying. But it's done now. Week 2, let's go. If you have any questions, any topics you're interested in, anything you want to know about my training, gear or whatnot, which might be in the next video, just leave it in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye. Beautiful. Thank you. Good day. Bye. Okay, we're done.